Now we want to make the navigation items work. So if we press on the home navigation, we will go to home, press on profile, we will go to profile, goal to goal, categories to categories, and food to food. This is done by something called fragments. So I have on my website netport.com a tutorial on navigation drawer fragment. So I really don't need it now. We can just start with going to our layout and our app bar main. And just to understand it, the activity main.xml includes the app bar main, which includes content main. So we have it here in our app bar. This is main content. It says include layout content main. So we don't want it to include this anymore. So we'll just remove it. And instead we want a fragment. And a fragment is a frame layout. So I just written frame layout Android ID equals ID FL content layout width match parent, layout height match parent, layout margin top, question mark attribute, action bar size. Okay, let's save and let's close this one and open our Java code. So we had in our menu home as the first one. So I will right click on the package, go to new, fragment blank, and I will call this home fragment, and then click finish. Then I will open import, and I can see here that it ports android.app.fragment, and I don't want to import app.fragment. So I'll just remove that, and I will say that it should import android.support.v4.app.fragment. Okay, just the next one is profile. So I'll make a new fragment blank, name profile fragment, finish, go to import, remove import android app.fragment and replace it with android.support for v4 app.fragment. Next one is goal, new fragment, name goal fragment, the same here. Okay, then we have categories, new fragment, categories fragment, the same replacement here, food, fragment, finish, and the same replacements here. Okay, now I want to go to my main activity, and at the start we see that the public class main activity extends app compat activity and implements navigation view on navigation item selected listener. So we want to add a new method. to the main activity. We'll just place it at the bottom, and the method is called onFragmentInteraction URA. So I will just import package, now import the class URA. And I use the override also. And I get an error, I know it, but it doesn't matter. Okay. Next I want to implement all of my fragments. So I'll just put a comma and then categories fragment dot on fragment interaction listener. Next one is food fragment dot on fragment listener. Then we have goal fragment dot goal fragment dot on fragment interaction listener. Then we have home fragment dot on fragment integration listener. We have profile fragment dot on fragment integration listener. Okay. Underneath our toolbar we have the set title, and underneath set title we are going to implode or interlace the fragment. So this is the method for doing that. So I will just import the fragment here, and remember android.support v4.app. Import the class fragment manager. And it should be home fragment here. So fragment equals null. Class fragment class equals null. Fragment class equals home fragment.class. And then we try. So this is just to define. And then we try to create an instance of the fragment class, which is home fragment. If not, then we print an error. Then we just in our design we remove the frame FL content with the fragment. So if we run this code now, you should see the page fragment home. This is what you should see. And if you got an error, then you probably have not changed the import Android support v4 app fragment in home fragment. Okay. So let's go down to our on navigation item selected. Here we will get the ID from the item ID. So this is when we are pressing something. What we want to do now is just write fragment equals null, fragment class equals null. And for the nav home, we will use fragment class equals home fragment class. Then fragment for the navigation profile, we'll use profile fragment class. For goal, we will use goal fragment class. For categories, we will use categories fragment class. And for food, we will use food fragment.class. Okay. We will now try to add the item to the fragment. So it's try fragment class, new instance, the same as above. And if we get an error, we will print it to the stack trace. Then we will try to show that content. Fragment manager, get support fragment manager manager.begin transaction, replace RID FL content with the fragment and commit. If I get an error, we print it to stack, and then I write a toast message with the error. Okay, we have everything we need now. This is just to close the menu, I think. Yeah. So now we can run the app, and it should work. Oh, I want to do one more thing. I want to go to each fragment page and just edit the text. So for categories, I want to write categories. For food, I want to write food. For goal, I want to have goal. Home. Profile. That was the last one. Okay, let's run the application. Okay, the application is now up and running. You can see it says home. We go to the menu, click home. Yeah, it's still home. Profile, goal, categories, and food. So now we can navigate. Next episode, I want to do the categories with all the categories from the SQLite database. And if you want to, you can just visit my website and you will find the source on free courses, engineering, programming, and Android.